we say goodnight, and we talk about how tough it was to build for this.
Wow, well, how ironic. Look what just
How
spawned.
ironic indeed. How ironic indeed.
And here, I thought irony was just how the water tastes.
Welcome everybody to the Poke Battle Network. Today, we're going to be doing some team building with Brownballer and Cleonardo from Devon Corps GG's top meta team. We had them on. We did the how to look at the guide of the genetic cup. It's great to have them back, gentlemen. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling now about genetics now that we've done some good talking on it?
I'm feeling like Gregor Mendel out here with all this genetic information.
Damn, that was good. Celio, you feel that way too?
Well, I'd say as Brownballer said in another video that I suggest you to watch, you guys. Actually, it's important to start with mutations. If you want to build a team, let's start with the mutation, because this is a funnel team building process where you have to. I mean, if you start from the first lot, you're going to see your choices getting narrower and narrower, while you might be forced to use a mutation with a very bad dual typing that doesn't really add anything to your team. But if you look at the good mutations, if you identify a couple of them that are really good and really mix them together, and they are paired them out together and they are good together, and they're strong as the meta, well, just start with those two and then go backwards and choose your children and then choose your parent types.
Yeah, you make great points there about starting from the back, feeling good. This meta is definitely been wild. After our conversation, I was like mind blown about the same typing in the children section. Like, there was so much more to build and play around with that I had to get you guys back in here so we can build these teams and we can figure out like what we're going to do, because this meta seems like it's going to be crazy. And when we look at PV Poke, that we have our great resource PV Poke always up and running for us, the man, the myth, the legend. You see that BASTI Don is #1. None of the parents are anywhere near the top 10. Feraligator's the first one at 11. So real interesting that the mutation is what we're talking about starting first, because it looks like the mutations are going to be where you're going to want to take some of these key top Pokemon from PV Poke.
Yeah, it's important, however, to realize that PV Poke doesn't really give any high importance to this or that pick. So every Pokemon has the same importance, because there is a same usage taken for granted for all these Pokemon. So of course Bastiodon and Steel type in general are going to be very strong, because majority of the Pokemon allowed in this meta are going to be Nidoran, are going to be Coughing. So of course you will not be using that. Of course you'll be using Feraligatr, Empoleon, some Poliwrath, and of course people have to be wary about the presence of Bastiodon, because it's going to be a huge threat to be reckoned with. Yeah. But also, so yeah, probably these rankings are currently a little bit skewed so far, but yeah, it's still strong. It's definitely still strong.
I mean, every ranking in PV Poke when we start always starts off with one Pokemon, and then as you go through the first week, you start seeing numerous amounts of other Pokemon taking up the mantle. I don't know how many times we saw Blaziken as the #1 the first time a meta come out, and then all of a sudden Blaziken's at the bottom because it's so frail.
Remember, that's also a misleading representation for numbers, because your opponent can't bring top 6. Actually, let's just look at top 6 real quick. So I mean, say they bring Bastiodon, fine. They can't bring A-Slash. They can't bring Skarmory. They can't bring Shadow Skarmory. They can't bring Shadow. So, sorry, they bring Bastiodon. They can't have Empoleon.
to bring one of those top 6.
Top 7 actually. It looks
Top
like.
7, yeah. Wow.
I mean.
Oh,
for
just of
alligators,
steel,
kind
because of steel, because of
Yeah.
that steel typing.
Yeah, you can only have one steel typing on your entire team. Unless you have, well, you can have poison steel doesn't exist.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
there is Revaroom.
Revaroom just came out,
That's a
and it's got
poison steel.
overheat.
Is it good?
I might play with
Might
it.
be. It might be too squishy for Grey League.
How do you get
But ranked 109. Poison jab, overheat, acid spray. You had to hatch it in an egg. You had to hatch it in a friend
cool.
egg.
So cool. So the one thing I don't do.
Let's start off then, gentlemen. I feel like we just gotta dive into it. We feel like we gotta dive into it. What is going to be our first Pokemon that we're gonna choose for our mutation?
I'd pick for alligator because I just spit dust on it.
I said mutation,
yeah.
but okay, parent works.
Oh, mutation.
Mutation.
Oh,
We're starting
Bastiodon.
mutation.
Bastiodon.
I'm gonna X you on that. I'm gonna say no. I don't want Bastiodon. I think Bastiodon is no.
I want Bastiodon.
You want Bastiodon?
Yeah, like-
Fine. So we've got Bastiodon coming in. That's gonna be our first mutation. So now all of the steals are out. What is our second mutation? What are we bringing?
Is Bastiodon Shadow or regular? Because you
Ooh,
haven't
that's a good one.
decided yet.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Regular because I don't have a shadow build.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, but you can use a Bastiodon with return if you want.
Oh, we could use return Bastiodon. Let's
How
go.
does this kid not recognize? We say this. He's like every time we mention return, he's like, "That's right." Love it.
I don't have a return Bastiodon build. I don't have the XLs for it.
Okay, so we picked Bastiodon. Okay, going down here now. What are we thinking as another mutation? We can't have Barbarical because that's rock. Golbat can't have it because that's grass poison. Dragonite maybe?
You need an anti-counter user, so like.
So we need a flyer.
Maybe honestly, like it may not be the best place to go right now. It may be finding. I personally think Bastiodon's number 1. So like I personally prefer to build around it. It's like I think A/ also would be built around very similar to Bastiodon. So what I'm looking at is stuff that beats the counter users.
Okay.
So right now the ground types are banned. So I mean I'm honestly not too concerned about the water types with Bastiodon right now. So like if we look at counter and PvP poke, Wrath, Annihilate, Toxicroak, Blaziken. That's it.
Yeah.
So like these 3 of these have to be slot 2 mons. Otherwise, there's nothing really in that. Man, it's really beating everything there. You have to be very careful. I guess what is.
That's
So
why
now
I
you
was
have to
so hyped on Polytoad earlier because it's got
So
the
now
mud shot, it's got the weather balls. I was like, oh.
But that doesn't resist the rocks that Magic throws at us.
No, but I'm just saying, like, their counter is not here. And if it is, it's taking your slot 1, your slot 2.
Yeah, so like let's put in the PvP poke. Like what just beats them very well.
So I would think a flyer would beat all of those pretty well if we're trying to go at it and we can't get the
But
steal and
remember-
Skarmory.
Well,
So-
you have to be a little careful about Poliwrath because it can deal with the flyers a little bit better, and also they all have Ice Punch, so you have to be very careful there.
Again, the question is, like Celio, you brought it up. Will flyers pop up or will fighters pop up?
And I think Blaziken's bad just in general. What I'm seeing does very well versus all of them is Mantine. That's personally what I would put in second.
Yeah, so with Electric's band, of course, Mantine and Pelipper are going to be children there. We didn't talk about in the previous video, but actually, so the main reason why I don't believe this is going to be a super Pelipper or Mantine friendly meta is that okay, so they are usually good, but I'm expecting lots of Empoleon, lots of Sandslash. I know the Pelipper has played into them. Mantine doesn't really.
Mantine beats Empoleon into zeros, and it beats it up energy with A/. I personally prefer Water Pulse on it. With Water Pulse, I've noticed Mantine just soars, and I don't like Ice Beam on Mantine.
Well, let me have a look because Mantine wins the zeros against Empoleon.
With just straight arrow ace with wing attacks.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh, let me have a look because I'm going to learn something new right now.
Yeah, at least mine does.
Because I see here the rank 1 versus rank 1 Mantine loses all shield scenarios.
Interesting.
But
It's
but
still,
just barely.
it's,
But
yeah, it's
again,
still
just
really
barely.
close.
Yeah. Like
This isn't a mutation. Mantine is not a mutation. Mantine is a child.
oh no, it's
So
just
we're
a child.
trying to find a second mutation right now. We have
I
Bastidon.
don't I don't know if you necessarily would be going into your mutation slot. I think I think Bastion's really strong. Like I think
Okay.
if you want to build a Bastion centric team, you've really got to protect it.
Or maybe you
Otherwise-
can just start with one mutation and then you can go slightly backwards, trying to have some shield, and then you can fill the last gap
Exactly.
at
Yeah.
the end
Okay.
with the final
Exactly.
mutation.
Yeah.
So then, if we take Bastidon out, are we hyped then on a ghost? We're worried about fighters. I think Jellicent puts up some good love there if we're trying to protect Bastidon, another tank. It's got access to surf. It throws the shadow ball. I feel like that would be a good one there with it.
I don't love Jellicent as much just because.
Okay.
So
we're gonna go with Mantine then. Mantine or Pelipper as our number two.
I think I personally prefer Mantine. It's just
Okay.
got that bulk. It's nothing exciting. It's not really gonna. There's no lantern, so like without lantern, like it beats Feraligatr. It's just so neutral and everything. Like
Yeah.
the thing it doesn't want to see is Bastidon, which you just don't stay in that matchup.
Yeah. All right. So we've got Bastidon and we got Mantine. What is our next? Are we going with the parent then? Does that mean we got to pick our water? Are we going? Let's pick our water then. Let's pick either Feraligatr or what was our other waters? Polytoad.
Well, the Sekim, Politoad, Samurott, Rainy Castle.
Samurott?
Actually, we didn't talk about a potential spice version of Rainy Castle because if ghosts are not going to be as common, why not run in tackle Rainy Castle just to do just to deal neutral damage on most waters rather than resist the water gun. Of course, you will still deal resisted damage against Empoleon, but you have the Thunder for it, and it's going to be a neutral matchup. Of course, when both shields are up, Empoleon has the upper hand in that matchup. But yeah, in the 0 and probably in the 1 shield if you bait, Rainy Castform should be winning against Empoleon. Right.
I like the idea. Is that where we're going though? Because we were all hyped on Feraligatr as our main water boy, as our main parent.
Right now, in the ones, this is assuming. Let's see here. I'm P-Poke. I'm checking on selective baiting against all the meta. It's 6 and 30. I don't know what Feraligatr looks like, but tackle and Rainy Castform seems like it's underperforming there.
Oh.
Feraligatr is 19 and 18 against the meta. But that also, it's very difficult to predict the meta since it can be so variable based on the team.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, now it is a completely arbitrary meta that we have just made up. So
I'll tell you right.
Everything.
I'll tell you right now, the teams I would go into Flash would not be the teams I take to my local, because I know the people in Flash would play something different, and I know my people in local would bring the biggest spice and the wildest curveballs ever. So you gotta prepare for like all of that. It's awesome. I love it.
The question is, I guess, would you put? Yeah, I think that's a really good question. It's tackle versus water gun. I mean, I feel like every team is going to have a steal, but it'll just have one steal. I mean,
and
that's really
you'll have 2 waters.
Yeah. At least, yeah.
So
I feel like it's definitely. I feel like it's underperforming on the Sims, for sure.
So we're gonna say our first parent is Rainy.
Yeah, I have no issue with that.
Cool. I like that too. Cast form Rainy. Actually,
I can make a mock because this one's cheaper to build, and I can justify this one over
it's the
the other one I have.
You're gonna have to boost it up at one point anyways.
Exactly. I can justify that one.
Oh,
the other one,
God forbid you spend 16k dust or 66k dust out of you.
Okay, well this one.
Big spender.
Look at this one,
I see it.
and now watch when I power this up.
Yeah, I know where Muck is. I've got one. Yeah, why would you have that one at 1469? Ugh. No one's gonna take that seriously. Get out of here. Anyways, so we're taking Muck then as our fourth Pokemon. And our second parent, which would be, our parents are poison and water. So I have to ask you then, if the ghosts are out, are we going to try to find a ghost typing in this? Or are we going to go bring the Drapion? Or are we bringing in Victory Bell?
I don't like ghosts. I don't like the the poison ghosts.
Okay.
They're way too glassy for my liking.
Okay.
I've always tried them. I always loved them, and I always die with them for some reason. They don't have enough health for my liking. Yeah, I mean, I think Drapion is so safe. Like right now, I'm looking at the team. Like,
I think
outside of Bastiodon, as
think
much as I love running Bastiodon Shadow Vic, I think Bastiodon Drapion might be a safer play overall.
I think you're correct.
Even though I love Victory Bell so much, and I just built one too.
Celio, any thoughts?
Well, Drapion, I mean, I believe you can't really go that wrong with Drapion. It's going to be good against almost everything.
Yeah.
And you can probably bring Drapion almost every game against any opponent. The only thing is that, yeah, now you are 50-50 RPS against ground type users, and you only have one clear answer to any Pokemon having access to a ground type move. Yeah, so for example, I mean, you have actually two good answers for Toxicroak, but you have only one good answer for Mud Slap Grimer.
Yeah, for Grimer.
Yeah, Mud Slap Grimer is going to be a huge pain in the neck for you right now.
Again, that's if someone brings it to the tournament. So it's going to
be pretty rare.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty rare though. So I wouldn't really worry. Yeah, I wouldn't really worry about that.
Are we sold on a A9 Shadow then? Is that our final mutation, or do we want to put the Girafarig just as to cover our basis on the Toxicroak and the Grimer that have access to Mud, since Girafarig is a poison type or is a confusion user? You can make it so that Girafarig is built to handle those poisons and you don't have to worry about that.
You know, we didn't talk about its third move actually.
Thunderbolt?
Yeah, I think some
Psychic
yeah,
Fang? He talked about everything. He mentioned
Tackle.
return. He mentioned return to
Tackle, Girafarig.
tackle Girafarig. Oh,
but yeah, you're going to be slower than.
Yeah.
Same as Confusion, just slower than Double Kick.
Yeah, so it's slower than the double kick, but it's also less powerful than Confusion. So okay.
My question here is, what is it for? What are you building Girafarig for?
I already had one built, and I already.
No. But I'm saying, like, what are you using it for? Are you building it to be anti-poison? Are you building it to go against the Bastiodon? Because that's the whole point of the utility. If you're doing it to double kick the Bastiodon, and you can debuff Bastiodon and double kick it out to next week, then you can. Like, what are you using it for? That's what I'm trying to. That's what I want to know, because I was suggesting it as the protector of against the poisons. So I would put a confusion on it. But I know that Celio was talking about double kick. So the question of this Pokemon, which is such a great utility Pokemon, is what are you building it for? What is it? What is its purpose on the team?
I feel like this team is incredibly weak to Bastiodon right now.
Let's bring back out PV Poke, and let's find the anti-Bastiodon Pokemon that we want to use.
The problem with Gallade is that he's going to have a hard time against the Feraligatr. And lots of people are going to use Feraligatr because it is strong.
I mean, Gallade is right there begging you to be played. It's doing 144. Stuff number 2 against Bastidon. That you can use.
But it still brings it. It's just even A slash is probably gonna rip through it too. Like if they just shield, like that's the issue of Gallade is you have to be shields down and you have to find a shield advantage for your team.
If you feel really fancy, you can use something like Shadow Metagross. Oh no, you already have a Steel type.
Yeah, Steel type. This is the beauty of this meta. God, I love it. I love it. Yes.
Yeah,
Bibarel. Oh, you can't use Bibarel because of the water typing. Look.
Bastidon is a major problem.
Ooh, we don't have grass, but that's Ghost. Deciduous is Ghost. Oh my gosh. Yo! You can't use Mantine.
I mean, Mantine is right now one of our better, with Waterfalls, is one of our better answers to Bastidon right now.
But Mantine, yeah, but there are better answers here to Bastidon in your mono than in Mantine, and you can find better anti-fighters if you need to worry about fighters in some of the Children of the Water or the Poison that we have, because that's the 2 that we have, than Mantine, because that's what we were worried about. That's why Mantine was brought forth, because we were worried about the Poliwrath, we were about the counter users.
What if we bring Kofa, drop the Poison for Kofa Grigas? So we can, just so we're less weak to Bastidon. It just feels, I feel way too weak to Basti.
Okay, so then would you do the Kofa Sableye combo as your second Ghost? Because you were going to have to drop Drapion now, because Drapion is the dark typing.
That's my thinking, because
okay.
Because you're way, I feel.
But you actually can have Drapion and Sableye together if you want.
Well, we wouldn't have Mantine.
Well, we don't. We're taking out Poison typing. We're putting in Ghost typing, so you can't have Drapion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what we're weak to on P-Folk.
I mean, we could look at Reverum. Well, you don't have it, but
I'm not. Yeah,
all these. We could look at all these Pokemon down here at the bottoms. I mean, Pidgeot is high up there.
That's super weak to Bastidon.
Right, but would it make your entire team then super weak to Bastidon?
I mean, Bastidon is coming versus this team, and there's nothing gonna stop that.
Right.
Well, I'm trying to build my team as well in the meantime, but I'm struggling too. I'm really struggling too.
Right? This is so much.
Yeah, what is Bastidon?
Yeah, so the problem with this is that in a vacuum, you will never be able to make a team with adequate coverage for everything, because this is the way the meta has been built. The only way is having access to early usage data so that we can make some informed decisions and make some assumptions. And if we see that no one in 10 tournaments so far in the early May hasn't used a certain pick, so we can accept being weak with our team to that, because no one so far has used it. But yeah, if we want to reason now about how's our coverage, we're gonna spot a lot of holes anywhere. And
I got my team. I'm just gonna run a team that I put together earlier. Yeah, I like this team.
Okay. I was gonna say Girafarig Double Kick does beat
you have to commit a shield.
Yeah, but I mean it does beat it, and you can take it out, give it up a shield or not. But that in of itself might be, because if you were looking at everything that we were looking at, unless you're finding it in the water, there's really nothing that beats Bastiodon.
Like, I don't like the waters because I feel like you just end up doubling up on a grass weakness.
And this is why I chose Probopass, because Probopass beats Bastiodon.
Yeah, I'm dropping water.
Getting into the matchup now between these two, as you see here, Celio's brought us Shadow Girafarig, Toxicroak, and the Sea King, Muck, Poliwrath, and Shadow Dragonite. And our team, That was a little difficult to build, but we got Bastidon, Victory Bell, Sableye, Kofa, Ninetales, and a Muck. So we'll see how these battlers put it together and battle each other out. Now, we're focusing on our team. How does it feel? Is Bastidon going to be that dominant against everything? We'll find out. Is Kofa going to be thick? Can Sableye be the safest swap we have? There is no grass hole. What is Brownballer thinking? Is Celio figuring it out as he goes with it? The man who created the meta? Let's find out if these two battlers are going to try to battle it out now.
Oh, come on.
Ninetales end up falling right. Here we go. And this is what we were talking about when we said Charm is not what you want as the double kicks are coming in. They're doing pretty good, and Charm is showing why it's still number one as a heavy hitter. Psychic Fangs takes the Ninetales to about half. The double kicks doing now double what they did before. Charm has done all that it's needed to do and has gotten all the energy now on Ninetales. So that is a good battle of mutations right there. But we'll have to see how the rest of it plays out because the fairy typing on Poison, are you serious? That's crazy. Again, Ninetales having 3 charge move sets, the Weather Ball, ISD, Size Shock, and the Dazzling Gleam, as the Size Shock does about 2/3 of Muck's health, and Muck now is seeing some Shadow Claws. This is not Lick Muck, this is just regular Poison Muck. So Poison Muck's gonna throw off some charge moves, and we're gonna see some damage dealt. Okay, Muck taking it to the yellow.
Wait,
and Polly comes back.
Dot. Interesting.
Yeah.
I did have Mudshot Polygraph Bill. I didn't even think about that.
Well, that's why you gotta think about it. As the Polly is met with the Kofa, will the fighter go to the coffin, or will the coffin overtake the fighter? Scold, no debuff. This is not a Brownballer's journey, so the Scold isn't gonna proc on him. Dark Pulse is going to be shielded. Excellent. Polly's showing why it's still strong. Number 8 on PV Poke, one of the top children. Like, if you're having a problem with Bastidon, Polly might be the way to go. Another Scold comes and takes out that coffin. 2 shields left, and it's all on Sableye.
Oh, I have 2 shields left. Shit, I forgot shields. I thought I used a shield. Oh, shit. I could totally shield that through.
Icy Wind comes plowing through. The last Pokemon now is debuffed and can't get to the move. Here comes the Muck. All the Muck. Oh, man. Muck's going to have some pain his way. All the energy back onto the Sableye from farming that down. The return gets shielded, and the Shadow Claws take out Muck.
I think Ghost is a lot better than we anticipated it to be.
Okay. I like that. That's good to know. What? You just felt strong with Kofa and Sableye then?
It pairs very well with Bastidon.
Okay. Right?
It also pairs very well with Alolan Ninetales because you can't really use a dark type. You can't really use a dark type with a Peace of Mind if you have a Categoricus and A9.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good. We might be finding something funny. Charmtails might be that sneaky Pokemon that's going to reset the meta. As we're going to pick our second team now. So, Brown, when you were picking into this team, you felt good with your good?
Ghosts were very free.
Did you feel strong with your team, or did you feel a little lost with this team? Like, oh, maybe I need to pick something else in my team.
I felt Charm and Ghost were very strong.
Okay. Celio, when looking at our team, what did you see you were maybe needing to bring in, or felt that you may be missing on your team?
I think it's going to be pretty impossible to play safely against some very polarizing teams like Bastidon, Victory Bell, A9. It's going to be impossible. So I mean, this also means that this is going to be good for you in some cases, bad for you in other cases. The problem is that, okay, so for example, yeah, like this Browns team is actually pretty well rounded. The only problem, yeah, is BASTI, which I don't have right now. But as long as you are assuming that no one is going to use Bastion because it's too risky, you actually are in a pretty good spot because it's a pretty much complete team. You have Sableye, which is always good. You have actually you have double Ghost, so you can bail out the Eradicate with Sableye and keeping Kofa in the back, and maybe having Ninetales in the lead to cover from the Dark types. So yeah.
And you can run Azu double Ghost too.
Yeah,
With this meta.
that's great. No, you can't.
Yeah, you can if you have
yeah,
the water.
You can. Yeah, you can. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, you can. I keep thinking of double ghosts as the only children. I'm like, no, wait a minute. You got the parent. You got the Kofa. The Dusk. Waiting for Celio to lock, and we'll get game 2 going.
Yeah, I think the first line I brought was just a very safe line. I mean, I could obviously play a lot riskier, but just, I mean, Ghost is just, I think we underpredicted it.
That's good to know, because in our last video we were talking about how maybe Ghost might not be the way. You want to go with Poison, you want to go with that, but if Ghost is the heavy hitter, let's go with it. As you're gonna see, Magical Leaf come back, and here comes the Toxicroak coming in now. Look at that, you can finally get the Sludge Bomb. You can finally get the Sludge Bomb. Victory Bell throwing a charge move before Toxicroak. That's Season 1 tears falling down right now. As the Mud Bomb is going to get shielded, this Poison Grass does not want to see that Mud Bomb. Super effective. Going to do some good damage. So, gets to another charge move. This is unheard of for Victory Bell. The shield, the throws, all of it's here. Magical Leaf almost got Toxie to the deep, deep red. Ooh. Oh. Ow. Ow. This is actually good because now you're going to force. You don't want to see that water Pokemon come out. You're not going to see it because that'll just be not effective to that Poliwrath. So the third Pokemon now being forced out, and it is the Mono Seeking. Ooh. What a call to bring in Victory Bell in game 2. Oh my goodness. And the Poisons don't take it out either. Victory Bell! You've gone to 3 charge moves now? Oh my goodness. 4? What? Insane. Revealing the third Pokemon to be the Charmer. Yo, this team we're finding might be really good. Or if you find opponents are just building against Bastiodon, this might be a good team to start looking into. Ninetales, good coverage against these fighters. Victory Bell did wonders against those fighters. I think we need to put Victory Bell and Venusaur after watching that in this meta, because 4 charge moves, it took out Toxicroak with 2 shields, handled the waters. This was an incredible, incredible display of the Victory Bell. Why did you bring it, Brown?
Because I feel like that Poliwrath's coming.
Okay. All right.
And I wanted to bring, and there's 2 waters on a team, so I mean, there's a 33% chance I hit a water. And without the Psychic, with Double Kick on the Giraffe Rig, I can just try and overpower it.
Right. The reveal of Double Kick made you feel more safer.
And I'm really not too scared of Toxicroak. I mean, Muck and Dragonite's really all I'm really afraid of there. And we just didn't draw one.
How many taps did you get in that last battle? 1 or 2 before Toxicroak came?
Like, I think 1 or 2.
Right?
Not that many.
So, man, that was a good one. That was a tough matchup. Celio, how you feeling about that?
Yeah, I think my team is ill built. I didn't make a good team.
No worries.
To be fair,
Thank God it's April. Thank God it's April. Genetics hasn't even kicked in yet. You can mutate all you want, my friend.
I didn't make a good team, but I also, I mean, I'm confident that probably Browns is going to be the only one running this team. So I'm not exceptionally worried because it's okay if I lose to Browns team, but as long as he's the only one using this.
The Ninetales? Is it the Ninetales that's the most?
I think the Ninetales is really strong. If you could also run Powder Snow as well. I mean, you can have good for fast coverage against the poisons. I think A9 may be very underrated.
Okay, let's see if I manage to get one win.
You can. I got faith. We have faith. Don't you worry, my friend. Faith is on your side as we're going to see Kofa into Dragon Knight. Now, I know some top tier battlers who loved using Dragon Knight over the last few metas. So this Dragon Knight here, actually, I'm not mad at. You're like, I might feel like this the weak one. I feel your Dragon Knight might be your best Pokemon on your team. With that Dragon Breath, destroying Cofagrigus, only giving up 1 shield, now has tons of energy. The problem is, like you said, only Brownballer is going to be bringing that Ninetales. And look at what Charm's doing to the Sea King. It's already in the deep yellow. Drill Run, Icy Wind. What will Sea King throw? It's an Icy Wind and it debuffs that Charm. Ooh. What is going to happen here? Will we get the shield, or are you gonna let it just go? Yeah, gotta let it just go. Should be
muck in the back,
right? It would be smart to be muck in the back. It could be Girafarig, a Wyland team like this. Oh, and it's Toxicroak. Toxicroak did get the Shadow Ball and has Dynamic Punch, so the Dark and Ghost typing have things to fret, but has that Mud Bomb. Oh, snap! Shadow Wall! Now, here's a fun thing, too. If you feel like you're bringing Poliwrath to handle all of those Bastiodons, you could make your Toxicroak Poison Jab and put Dynamic Punch on it. Yes, it's not going to be as fast attack on that Bastiodon, but the Poison Jab there for these fairies, if somehow Brownballer has found a way to shift the meta, that is a great battle there. Celio coming back and getting the dubs, bringing in the matchups. Toxicroak really shined with the counter there and hitting that Shadow Ball on Sableye. Mwah, mwah. Double kisses. Gentlemen, this is the last battle. How did you feel about the team and going up against it?
A9 protected Basti very well, and then the Ghost also did. Like, if you run Basti, if you protect it, like, it, even just the bench pressure of it, I mean, it could, I mean, if it gets on a Muck, that's a terrible matchup for a Muck. Like, the Toxie's pretty terrible. Poly's pretty terrible, so I mean, those are a little bit safer. But I mean, does open up the victory belt quite honestly, which I mean, just the strength of A9. I mean, if it's not on Muck, it's going to be difficult to deal with. Even the second, even if you have a Drapion, it's still not a superb matchup for Drapion. Like, it does a lot of damage to it.
I'm really happy that I actually managed to take 1 win off Brown. But, okay, so of course this is super early tests, and I think probably well, A9 might see some rise in usage in the next weeks, because actually, I mean, of course it also will depend on how many poison jabbers people are going to use, and because Mark is one, Seeking is the second one. And actually, Seeking surprised me. Like, okay, so there is of course, there was a reason why I picked it, and yeah, it's a very diverse coverage. It is a pseudo poison type, but also pseudo ground type, so it's actually very useful. I'm not sure about about the fighters, well, of course, Poliwrath underperformed, but just because it wasn't really never in condition to shine. But against more standard teams, I'd say that Matchshot Poliwrath is actually way better than Counter One, because you still should be able to win against most things. Of course, you lose to Dugong, I believe, if you don't have Dynamic Punch. If you have Icy Wind and Cold and Matchshot, you're not gonna win against Dugong. But you're gonna put up a fight, I believe. And of course, you improve the matchup against the Ghosties. So, well, yeah, I'm not really happy about my team. I will definitely change it. But yeah, I'm positively impressed, and I'm positively impressed by the Bastiodon A9 couple, because I say a couple of mutations exert a huge bench pressure, and it forces you to make some choices, and you can't really use Mark because Bastiodon is there, and if you align Bastiodon with Mark, it's going to be GG's. So yeah, you really have to be more attentive about the real usage data, because this is going to be where you will accept to be uncovered against some picks, because they will not be common at all, and this is where you really have to make some assumption.
Yeah, I think Sableye was very, very strong just in general. I mean, like, it doesn't look super amazing, but just the Shadow Claw damage, I mean, outside of Giraffe Rig, I mean, Giraffe Rig is glassy enough that it's not that big of a problem. Kofa felt better in the back. I mean, I think I hit the worst possible lead of Kofa Gregus there, but I mean, I really didn't have a comfortable swap. Actually, I probably could have comfortably swapped in Sableye, but I think just the value of Sableye is very difficult to. I think it's very underranked. It felt way too strong. I mean, Sableye for shield advantage is basically a guaranteed win con.
Yeah, I also believe that Double Ghost is a very sound choice, because most of it, I mean, people will have only one Dark.
Yeah.
So if you manage to get to Double Ghost, you actually are in a very good spot, because of course Raticate is going to be put against Stable Assist swap, and then you have Kofa in the back, and then you have A9 in the lead, or maybe Bastiodon. Even Bastiodon is fine, just to so-call the damage from Raticate.
Yeah.
So if you manage to do something like this, double up on some roles where there is only one possible answer eligible in the opponent's team, this is where you're gonna have a type advantage over the opponent team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all great analysis, and you guys just played this. Watching it was, the Ninetales definitely shown more than we thought it was going to, especially because there was no Bastiodon on the opposing side to really put it in check, and only Muck had real access to poison. You know, you can debuff it with the Sea King, and unless you have Sludge Bomb on your Toxicroak, you're not really putting much pressure there. So Ninetales shown, but we literally watched at the beginning of this raking our minds and going, I can't use this, I can't use that, we can't do this. And that's all because we based it off of a Bastiodon. And not everybody's going to have a Bastiodon, or not everybody's going to want to go with that rock Pokemon first. So there's going to be so many different outlooks. Like, I feel like our teams are the two teams we have that you guys have are great. The team that we built with Brown is a really good generalist neutral team. I think it's a great starter team. And I think the team that you have, Celio, is a great for if this was your regional, your local, and you knew your battlers, you knew who was coming, you knew what your opponents were bringing. Oh, I know Homeboy's gonna bring in Spice and stuff like that, so I'm gonna set him up. I'm gonna bring out two fighters, but my Girafarig's gonna kick him down, or you know, my Icy Wind's gonna knock him out. The Dragon Breath's gonna play. You know, you're not going to see Bastiodon a lot. All right, perfect. I know nobody in my community has a Bastiodon. These guys are going to shine.
I think also Lick Muck also might be a lot more viable than I think we gave it credit for. Because, I mean, ghost damage is very, very strong in this meta.
Yeah, so, like, there's so much utility and differences out there that I don't really think there's a wrong team. I don't think this meta you're going to build a bad team. I think you might build a team and somebody else is going to build another team and you're not going to see it coming. That is the only way you will lose so bad. It's not going to be like, oh, I didn't think about the fighter, because you'll have thought about the fighters. You'll have thought about this stuff because we've helped you along the way. But someone is going to reach all the way down and grab something that's going to quavel, right? Quavel? Yeah. Is that the Gen 9, right? Go and reach that wing attack, aerial ace, surf using Pokemon, or close combat using Pokemon to take out BASTI and your fighters. Like, there's going to be stuff that people are going to play that will have access to. So this is not, none of these teams here that we see are bad teams. Maybe Celio felt maybe a little discouraged after he saw how great Charm was, but nothing here was bad. I would not say anything you guys built was bad.
Well, yeah, it happens. I'm not really beating myself up too much. Yeah, of course, every loss is a hard hit for me because I live competitive in a very heated way. But yeah, definitely having. I mean, I'm glad that I actually had the chance to make some tests, to make some early tests, because it's important to recognize what's working, what's not working, and the earlier you do that, the sooner you do that, the better, because this meta clearly requires some testing. This is nowhere like any other metas we've seen before.
Gonna do it for us. The final thoughts on the team, what it was like building with it, what it was like going against it. We can see that it is going to be difficult for you, the battler, as it was difficult for us to figure out what a team is. Just have fun with it, build your team, grab what you need to, use what you need to. This is a real fun meta, and for team battling and team building, this is really going to be a turning point for some of you battlers that are new to the scene, that's only been GBL or haven't really gone into this real deep dive of a meta, because you're either going to love how your team's played out and how you're going to turn out in the locals, or you're going to hate it and be like, I'm over this. Because there is so much that you'll be thinking about, you'll be stressing about, and you could win it or you can't. It's always up to you, the battler. But Brownballer, Celio, any last words on the genetic meta you'd like to say to battlers before we say goodbye?
Just practice makes perfect. There's lots of tournaments around. Make sure you utilize them, and if you have some friends, maybe give them a call. Have some sandwiches together, and have a good team.
Well, I can't really add more of this because this is already a golden suggestion. The only thing that I can actually add is just to take an eye or two eyes on the usage data that populates over the next days with the first early tournaments that we're gonna see on Dracovic for the Devon meta, because everything is going to be revolving around that. You can't make a entire meta team before seeing the meta.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's great. And Dracovic will be giving you all the stats of the metas as you go through the months of the Devon Corps GG's ranked season. We are so happy to be having this grassroots type meta popping up, with this organization giving us wonderful metas monthly to help you, the battler, with your battling skills and your team building abilities. This is definitely going to help sharpen your team building skills. So good luck out there as we are going through the Genetic Cup of May. Brownballer and Celio, it was so great to have you both on. Thank you so much for joining us. You can get all of their information down below. There will be links of where to find Brownballer as he does his Twitch, and for all of Celio's Twitter accounts, and for Dracovic and for Devon Corps. Go check him out there as he is the meta lead. We're so, again, grateful to have you throughout this session. This was a wonderful meta to have you there. I think you cleared up so much for the battlers and helped this team building. Thank you so much for being here and taking your time out.
Thank you.
Brown, this is it for us. We're going to see everybody later on next month for some more metas. Are you excited for this month?
That's right. I guess, do we have any leak into the next month's meta that we have? Maybe a name?
Maybe
Kinda.
maybe a fire meta?
It's always hard to build a meta with 5 types.
I guess.
But
Is the name already been decided yet? Is there a way we can influence the names to say like the floral meta?
He's really trying to get that grass.
not really. But I mean, if you have enough fantasy, it might fall within. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Okay. I like that. Thank you. We'll take that hint now. We'll run with the Genetic Cup as we're still finishing up Rainstorm Cup in April and Genetic Cup for May. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us and enjoying these videos. Be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel to follow all the genetics DevonCorps GG fun that we'll be having here at the Poke Battle Network. Thank you again to our guest brown baller, Cleonardo, and I am SosaFlo. Thank you all for watching, and like always, keep on battling.